Hi there, gang. Happy New Year and welcome to OSF TV, our very first guest of 2023. Can you believe it, Andrew? We survived a whole year.
We did it. we made it a year without getting shut down.
This must be how Jeff Bezos feels.
Right?
Right. You know, it's that same feeling of, hey, I made it a year.
I was expecting someone from the back to be like, "Ooh."
This is why we don't do studio audiences.
Right. Those come later.
We made it a whole year of your mom being our biggest fan.
Uh-huh.
We made it most of the year, almost to the end of the year before my mom yelled at me for not pointing out that she's also a fan, which I apologized for a couple episodes ago.
Uh-huh.
Right? I had a very adorable picture of my mommy and my granddaughter. So we're good. So who do we get to make mad this year?
Right? We'll see. We'll see.
I do have a younger brother and sister we can rip on.
Yeah.
So it's January, and I was going to go with since we've got a travel agent on today. We've got Brittany on today from Marvelous Mouse Travel, and I'm so excited to talk to her. And I was going to go with my wife. Just bought me this absolutely audacious Hawaiian shirt because we're going on vacation here. Ooh, soon. Even from today.
Yeah.
We're going on vacation. We're going to Hawaii. But I went with just, pretty colors instead because I put the Hawaiian shirt on and it made my head hurt. And I figured when you add the lights and the cameras and everything, I'm like, nope, we're gonna take that out. So this is a perfect show though for our first show of the new year. It's winter time. Everybody's thinking, I hate Iowa winter. So what do you need?
How do you combat that?
A vacation. That's what we need. So that's why we've got Brittany from Marvelous Mouse Travel on with us right now. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome.
We are so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Any day's a good day. I get to talk about travel, so I'm glad to be here.
I love it. So let's dive right in. Tell me, let's start from the beginning. How'd you get started? How'd you get started as a travel agent?
So it really started right after college. I got an internship at Walt Disney World working in their Living with the Land greenhouses, doing hydroponic tours, and I got to manage the greenhouses. And I really just kind of fell in love with the company. This was kind of our vacation destination as I was growing up. So I was super familiar with the parks and everything, but I really got to immerse myself in the parks and Disney culture and got to be around world-class people every day. And I just really fell in love with it. So when I stayed in hydroponics for a little while and came back to Iowa, but just really wanted to stay in touch with the magic. So I started looking into what it would take to plan Disney trips for people, because that was my way that I could see connecting back into Disney. So I did that, and that's kind of where I started. I started with just planning Disney trips, and then I kind of branched off into Universal a little bit because people would ask about that. And then when I started doing wedding shows, a lot of people would ask about, all-inclusives and cruises and all this other stuff that I'm like, I don't book that. I just do Disney. That's what I do. So I kind of started learning different aspects of things and really got immersed in some of the other destinations, sandals resorts and palace and cruise lines. And so I've booked a wide variety of things now.
Awesome.
This is my 6th year in business. So I'm just learning something new every day.
So we're gonna dive deeper into all of that. I mean, that is she just set up our show
For sure.
which is perfect. I love this. But I think the number one question that everybody wants to know is what's Mickey like off camera? I mean, you see him on camera and he's always happy and he's always excited. But come on, what's he like to hang out with?
I've only met Mickey a couple times, probably about 4 or 5 times in person, like where we could actually interact one-on-one. So, and he was great.
It's cool. Didn't pull the whole celebrity thing. He was cool. So
yeah.
Funny story. So totally side story. So I did radio in the late 90s, and at the time, a McDonald's had just opened up in the town where I did the radio the show, and Ronald McDonald was coming to the grand opening, right? So they asked if as a sponsor of the show if they could be on the air with us. Like, sure, Ronald can come in. So this is a morning radio show. No cameras, right? It's just radio. So it is 6 o'clock in the morning, and in walks Ronald McDonald. I mean, full Ronald. Makeup, the shoes, the whole thing. And we have a conversation. We talked about Grimace. We talked about the hamburger. We talked about all of this. So we go to a song or a commercial, right? So we're off mic. And I'm like, so, hey, what's it like, being a Ronald McDonald clown? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, John. He stayed in character the entire time. I hung out with Ronald McDonald the entire time. It was really kind of cool. A little surreal, but Grimace says hi. I'm like, does he?
Really?
Oh, okay, cool. So you stay on that side of the glass and we'll be fine. So you worked at Disney, fell in love with Disney, which I think is cool. I've been there a number of times myself, and it is absolutely an amazing place. It's an incredible world. I mean, Walt Disney was a visionary, clearly. When you got back and you got into kind of starting to book trips for people, what kind of education came with learning? I mean, did you literally just kind of get back from the trip and you're like, I'm going to send people to Disney World and just kind of help them out because you knew, Pluto was working at the front desk, something like that. How did that kind of process? So there's some steps in between, is what you're saying.
There is, yes.
So tell me about the education side of it.
So our agency specifically specializes in Disney. A lot of agents also have other focuses. Like, obviously, I've been in this for a while, so I can also book different destinations like Universal and Royal Caribbean and some of those. But everyone in our agency starts off booking Disney. And so we go through Disney's College of Knowledge, and that is kind of their just introduction to everything Disney. It goes through not just the Disney parks in Florida and California, but also Alani, their parks in like Shanghai and everywhere else in the world.
Wait a minute. Because I knew there was, obviously in the States, and I knew there was Disney like Paris, I think, right?
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
Where else is there Disney World? Where else?
There's one in Shanghai and Tokyo as well.
Really?
Yes.
It survives like all the Godzilla attacks and everything. Like they're okay.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know that, and I am amazed that so Disney has a dedicated class that you take that new agents take to learn about Disney. That's
Absolutely.
That's genius by itself. That's incredible. Does anybody else know that? We should teach people stuff like that.
Universal has one as well as Royal Caribbean and Sandals, and Virgin Voyages are the ones I've been through so far.
So you've taken specific classes on the kind of the specific, like the key destination, big, like Sandals, Disney, Universal, stuff like that. So they actually have an entire program dedicated to helping travel agents learn kind of the highlights, how it all go about. Explain to me kind of how the classes work. What all do they talk about?
Yeah, so it goes through, it really goes through everything from different restaurants that they want to highlight to activities, excursion, room types and categories, where they're located on property, all sorts of different types of things. For Disney, they talk about like the tiers of the different types of resorts. So you got your value resorts, your moderates, and then your deluxe category. So it goes through and kind of talks about those different resorts and what's included. With deluxe resorts, you get different perks than you do if you're staying at a value resort. So making sure that agents know what those are, and just kind of going through everything. There's updates every year. So each year I have to renew my College of Knowledge certification, and they go through usually about an hour or two of updates on different things, different properties, or like the last couple of years, it's been what's going on with COVID and how things have changed because of it. And just so we're kind of up on everything
that's fascinating
that they've got to offer.
So the agency that you work with is the agency itself an entity of Disney, or is it like a contract with, are they a standalone, like is your agency a standalone agency and then you contract with all of these big deals, or are they part of the Disney family as well? And they're just like, okay, we'll let you go to Universal and some of the other places too.
No, they're a standalone agency. So we are an authorized Disney vacation planner. So we have the certification necessary, basically meaning that all our agents go through the College of Knowledge through Disney. And we book a certain amount of travel dollars and trips per year. So they want to make sure that if you're a top agency, that you're, one, trained in the destination, and two, you're booking a significant amount of trips to have that working product knowledge and build those relationships that way.
Oh, that's honest. I think that's really cool. I don't know. I've got my one of my wife's good friends, and she's a good friend of mine as well. I mean, I've known her for 20 years. But she's a travel agent, and I've always we've used her for years, and that's one of the reasons why I love talking with you, because I know the value of a good, knowledgeable travel agent, and we're going to get into that in a lot more detail as well. But I guess I never thought of the depth of the other, like the destinations, the Sandals, the Disneys, the Universals, where they go to help educate you guys so you can help your clients get the best possible experience that they can. I mean, I honestly, I just figured, you just you go online and yep, I can get you. You're there from the 10th to the 26th.
It's not just here's a booklet, read it, we'll text you on it later.
Here's your pamphlet. Have fun. Say hi to Mickey. He's really nice even off camera, allegedly. So it just I never realized the depth that goes into it. And I think that's absolutely amazing. I really do.
Yeah.
I love that. So you had mentioned you have been involved for 6 years. You started out on the Disney side, and you've evolved into all of these other places that we can send people, and we're gonna talk more about that. So talk to me, just kind of in general, when you meet with a couple, what's your process? What do you kind of start with them? Like how does that work?
So a lot of my interactions actually start online. So I have an online quote form that people fill out that gives just basic information on what they want with their trip. So I want to know what kind of trip it is, because that usually kind of set the tone for the resorts that I'll pick. Mm-hmm. See what their dates are, what their budget is, kind of what they're looking for, especially if it's an all-inclusive trip. Kind of what vibe are you looking for? Are you wanting like a huge party atmosphere, or are you wanting it to be like super laid back? Are you wanting it to be really private, or do you want tons to do, huge resort, lots of options? So there's all different kinds for everything in between. So I kind of want to get a gauge for what they're looking for, so I can pick resorts that'll kind of fit what works for them. So I'll take a look at that, and then from there, I'll just say thank you for your quote request. I'll be sure to get some options over to you really soon. Usually within 24 hours, I'll turn around with a couple different options that they can take a look at, and we just kind of go from there. I rarely meet with people in person. A lot of it's over either the phone or just back and forth via email. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's pretty easy. I want the hardest part to be choosing your, actual resort. And then from there, I want the process to be as easy and stress-free as possible.
Sure. So, and do you find, go ahead.
Well, she said the magic word, stress-free. As stress-free
we need a bell. You know what? For
possible.
2023, we need, whenever somebody says stress-free, we need ding.
Some confetti falls.
You said the word of the day. We're going to edit that in.
We will. Yeah.
In 2023 is going to be our year of actually learning how to edit these videos. That's going to be our new project. We may have to actually have somebody do it for us, but or you can, Andrew can do it. Andrew sounds. You know what? Your mom wants you to be more involved.
That's true.
And I think this would be a great opportunity for you to play with Adobe, because when I do it, I swear. Nonstop.
Hey, we're gonna talk pay raises later too. So
you know what? I'm actually open to that. If you take over I open that program. I'm like, play, and I'm good with that. Sorry, it's an ADD kind of thing. We are both. Andrew and I are both caffeine free today.
And that's a problem.
That's exciting.
That is exciting.
That is really exciting.
I think I'm actually kind of impressed with us on that one. I'm not gonna lie. So we're getting close to about midway through the show. We're gonna explore a whole bunch on the back half here about the different kinds of parks and kind of how you help couples with that. And we'll absolutely getting into destination weddings and all kinds of details like that. But if you watch some of our past shows here, you realize that about midway through the show, there is a crucial part of the show. It is, some may say, the anchor of the entire platform.
Arguably.
I think, and what this is, I don't know, if you want to, get yourself comfortable and prepare yourself, because this is a life-changing moment, and that moment right now, in 3, 2, 1, the Andrew moment.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching OSF TV. Make sure that you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and click the bell for notifications to be notified of new content that we upload. If you guys have any suggestions for future shows, vendors that you want on board, or you just want to talk about how much you like either Sean or myself, comment your comments in the comment section below.
So now we're encouraging people to talk about how much they like us.
Well,
I mean, now that we have reached the point where we have hundreds of subscribers.
It's around Christmas time. I still have some of that Christmas spirit. I was including you to be nice. Santa's always watching. You're not Santa Claus, are you?
Maybe. I do have cameras. So
he sees you when you're sleeping.
This was actually kind of neat. So yesterday I was playing around with on the YouTubes, and I looked up the hotel that we're going to be staying at when we go on vacation.
You, not me.
When my family and I, without Andrew, are going to Hawaii, and I'm going to send him pictures because I care. But I'll bring you back some sand. Actually, you're not even allowed to do that. If you catch at the
I don't
airport,
think you can do that.
They tackle you and make you stay in Hawaii. So I'm going to try and snuggle out some sand. My wife and I actually had this. No, we had a discussion. So last night I was looking things up online about it, and my wife's like, just so you know, we're staying when we go there. We're going to live in Hawaii. I'm like, okay. Did one of us win the Powerball that I wasn't aware of? Because yeah, we can live really well off of credit cards until they get maxed out. So we're gonna have 3 months of living like kings. 4 months if we budget ourselves. Then we're gonna be homeless.
You're gonna have to swim back here.
Nope. And then I'm gonna save just enough money to buy a tarp, and I am perfectly okay being homeless in Hawaii. I figure if you're gonna be homeless.
The beach,
I can be that guy that walks down the beach and, when I was a kid and just, do the whole. I think I would be a really good, crazy homeless person in Hawaii.
That's fair.
That's So anyway, I was looking to get back to my point about YouTube. I was looking at the hotel that we're staying at, which it's right on Waikiki. Whenever you see pictures of Diamond Head, I can point you out to the hotel. But I looked at their YouTube page. So we are over 100 subscribers on our little show here, which I think is pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. So here's this major hotel in Hawaii, right on Diamond Head, and they have all kinds of awesome activities. 600 subscribers on YouTube. So, I don't know. To me, it's like I just want to thank people for subscribing to the show, because I think it's really awesome that here we are, this little wedding show, and we are closing in on a resort that is world renowned, which I think is kind of key.
Every little bit helps.
It's kind of keen. I think it's neat. So.
Thank you all for subscribing and for your support.
We do, and thank you for commenting your comments in the comment section. And make sure when you comment in there, which host you like more.
I'm gonna say Nicole probably.
Bring back the girl. No, she's busy with photography stuff, so you're stuck with us, and we're adorable. Hey, we're talking to Brittany from Marvelous Mouse Travels. Welcome back to the show. That was the Andrew moment. Hope you enjoyed it. Life-changing, right? Is she with us? She's speechless. She was shocked.
I do that.
I
All
was
right.
waiting for the audience response.
Oh, it's there.
The live studio audience.
Oh, it's there. Oh yeah, live studio audience. We've had one show where my wife came to watch. She's like, we got done. She's like, so that's what you've been doing? I'm like, yeah, this is very high tech, isn't it? I mean, look at us. We got cool backgrounds and lights and cameras and stuff. This is a big question, and we're going to get into all of the other stuff because I think this all feeds off of it. But right now, in this day and age, especially with the internet, Expedia, everybody go to Expedia. Everybody uses the travel sites, right? I am a big fan of travel agents, and I would assume you would be on the same page as me. So can you explain and take all the details you want, because I think this is so important for people. Why? Why should we go with a travel agent over one of those online booking services?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I know a lot of people are like, you mean travel agents still exist? But we can do it online. Like, I didn't even know that was still a thing. And I'm like, oh, it's still a thing. But I think the biggest value that I've seen in travel agents, especially over the last couple of years, is really knowing the destinations and knowing what is required to travel. It's not as much of a deal as it has been the last couple of years, but I mean, you want someone in your corner when you are on your trip. It could be smooth and seamless, and I really hope that it is. But if there are hiccups or something isn't quite right, you want someone in your corner that has a relationship with the resorts, that can sit on hold for you so that you don't have to. A lot of times, if you're in travel or you're boarding a flight and you're not going to make your connecting flight, you need someone to work out those details while you're in air. I'm on the ground on the phone talking to vendors, airlines, whoever, to get that worked out for you. So you really, that's the biggest benefit I see, as well as, kind of knowing that destination before you get there, and being able to pick out the right room category and the right resort, and kind of knowing some of those things going in, so you're not surprised. Which beaches have vendors on the beach, which beaches are private, which one, like, there's a certain area when you go to Mexico that you do not stop and talk to anybody, or you are going to be sold a timeshare, and you don't want that on your trip. So, like, knowing that before you go is really important.
Oh, come on. Those timeshare meetings are so much fun.
So just knowing, like, those little details that, I mean, you're not going to find on an ad. Like, there's a certain resort in St. Lucia that is known for having a lot of cats. Well, you're not going to see those cats on the promotional brochure on their website.
Really?
So that's something I always bring out. I'm like, just so you know, there's quite a few cats here. If you are allergic to cats, this might not be the best resort for you.
And who would think to ask that, of all things? And it's that personal touch. And that's where, and we're going to jump out of order just a little bit, because I want to get into like the destination wedding side of stuff, because let's talk cats for a second. This is something that is so important. And this really, you can take this to even why we do OSF TV. Is that, you've got a great listing with us on the platform. You've got your social media, you've got your website, you've got all of that out there, but actually connecting with somebody, like having you on the show where people can actually hear and kind of get to know your heart and your energy. I mean, it's so obvious in just the amount of time that we've spoken so far, how passionate and excited you are about what you do. And when somebody is planning, whether it's their honeymoon, whether it's a trip or a destination wedding, having someone like you, as opposed to just going to Expedia and, yep, let's go to this place because those 3 pictures look great. Perfect example. First time I ever went to Cancun, okay, did not use a travel agent. And I booked this resort.
And you bought a timeshare, and you've been back every year.
I did not buy a timeshare. I did not. But the first time I ever went, the pictures of the resort, gorgeous. So I thought, yeah, that one. So we get to Cancun, and we're on this big bus that just goes down the strip, and it's just, if you've never been there, it's just all resorts, just all down the strip, right? And it's oceanside and beautiful and beautiful and beautiful, and people are getting off the bus as it stops at each place, and I'm like, maybe ours is next. Maybe ours is next. Wow, the ocean looks beautiful. Maybe ours is next. Wow, that one's gorgeous. Maybe ours is next. We get to the last one, and I'm like, looking to my right where the ocean is. we're out of resorts. And then
Oh,
I look to
no.
my left, and the left is the lagoon side. And the lagoon side smells like diesel fuel, and it's swampy and nasty. And that was the resort.
Not as fun.
Not as fun. So and you read the descriptions, and I went back because I'm curious. I went back and looked at this, ocean view, which is true. If
Technically.
you're 10 stories up, you can see the ocean across the street on the other side of all of these other resorts. Otherwise, it was a lagoon that with stuff growing in it and monsters and
Loch Ness.
It was, I don't know.
Probably.
At that point, I pivoted, and the entire vacation was based on how much tequila can Sean drink while he's there. And it's important to be focused. You got to have a goal. But had I had a travel agent like yourself, Brittany, you would have said, you might want to look to your right for the resort that you're going to. So there is definite value in that personal touch as opposed to online. And online you're not going to get your questions answered, and you're definitely not going to have somebody in your corner. I know, like when my youngest son played hockey, you go to Wisconsin and Minnesota and stuff, and you just, quick book your room through Expedia. Everybody just quick little book like that, and I can't count the number of times. And these are just just little overnight stop kind of places where you find out when you get there that the bookings that the hotel gets from the websites are last on their list of priorities. So it's not difficult for them to book your room out because they'll get a better rate face-to-face than the discounts rooms that they get online. And so, I mean, there was a number of times we would get there and they're like, oh no, we're booked up. Well, we did it through, this online thing. Sorry, that's lower on our list of priorities. And then you call Expedia and they're like,
They don't care.
No, they don't care at all. So, but we could have called.
And to go along with that, the age of Airbnb and that kind of thing, where people are booking on their own with another person who's also on their own, there's not as many protections in place. There were people that were showing up, to Airbnb resorts that are like, well, your owner foreclosed on your property 2 months ago and just never told you. And I mean, that's not going to happen.
That is, can you imagine that? You travel, go to California, you fly the whole fam to California, you get there and the house has been foreclosed on.
I went to St. Louis last year in an Airbnb. They didn't have Wi-Fi. They're sort of similar.
Well, yeah,
right.
You did have a room over your head, or a roof over your head, but having somebody in your corner is so important because you as their dedicated travel agent, you're a phone call away, you're a text away, you're a quick message away, quick. And if you happen to be using her for your wedding, and you are part of the rstressfreewedding.com platform, you can reach out to her through your messaging system and talk to her all right there as well. So let's talk weddings. This is a wedding show. So how do you work with couples when it comes to planning like a destination wedding? They want to get away. They want to get married on the beach. How does that work? What do you do with them?
That's a really great question. So first thing, just kind of like any other trip, I kind of want to have a general idea of dates and what type of vibe you're looking for your wedding. Another really important question is how many people do you plan on having? Because that might determine kind of what route we go. There's 2 routes that we can go with a wedding group. If you're planning on it being pretty intimate, just you and maybe another couple, or maybe it's just the 2 of you and you're going to elope and go get married in Jamaica or wherever you decide to go, it'll be a different process than if we need to go through and do a contracted booking where we get a certain amount of rooms and kind of book out the resort that way. So kind of depends on how many you're looking to do. So from that point, we kind of pick a resort like we do for any other thing. There's different considerations, obviously, if you want to have like an over the water wedding chapel, there's different options. Sandals and Palace resorts both offer free wedding options. So that's really attractive to a lot of people. If you can just go down there and, hey, my wedding's free and I'm already in my honeymoon destination. So that's another definite benefit.
Wow.
Sandals also offers a free test, or not a free test drive, but you can go down and test drive the wedding. So you can go down, make all those decisions, like what flowers do you want? What linens do you want? Let's meet the photographer. Let's meet the people that are down there and pick out, the bouquets and all that while you're there. It's a pretty intense couple days, but you can go down and really see firsthand what you're getting.
Wait,
and then
so you
come back and get ready for the actual wedding
you're
day.
forced to go down to a paradise location to get everything in place. So
You're not forced. You don't have
so
to.
they're
I've had
making you
couples that
go to
take
this
advantage of
gorgeous
that
vacation.
option.
Well, hell yes, you would. Oh, you mean I got to go down there and test things before I go down there and enjoy myself?
If I have to.
Fine. Oh, so much responsibility. That is, I mean, what a great service. And again,
Yeah.
something that someone in your profession can help guide through. So what about if I want to have my wedding in Hawaii, let's say my wife and I want to renew our vows, and we use you as our travel agent. Would you be able to help line up like an officiant? Would you be able to help kind of line up some of the different aspects that would happen while we're down there? I mean, how in depth can you go from your side for helping a couple out for their wedding?
Well, in all honesty, if you were going to get married in Hawaii, I would probably pass you off to another agent who specializes more in Hawaii. That's not really my specialty destination, so I would want to make sure that you're really well taken care of. So I would probably pass you on to another agent.
Okay,
However,
so that's awesome. But okay, so let's go with so if I want to get married at Sandals, and I have a number of questions that my wife gave me about Sandals to ask you. So
all right.
let's say if I wanted to get married at Sandals, how in depth do you go in kind of helping with that planning process with them?
Yeah. So the great thing with Sandals and a lot of other all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean is they have a wedding planning team specifically dedicated to weddings. So I will usually get the wedding date booked to make sure everything's set for the reservation aspect, to make sure that guests are taken care of. But the wedding piece, I can actually send over to the wedding team, and really it's pretty easy from there. So they'll go over a lot of those things like getting an officiant and getting your cake picked out and your flowers and your colors and your music and everything that kind of goes along with that. So they'll walk you through that process over a couple weeks and months. So it kind of depends on how quickly your wedding's coming up. A lot of wedding dates get booked out about a year in advance. So if you are thinking about a destination wedding, getting that booked sooner than later. It's not one of those things where you can kind of decide 3 months earlier, oh, we're just going to go down to Jamaica and get married. Like it's probably going to be booked up. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's one of those things to get your wedding date in early. And then once that's in, we can kind of go through and plan from there. So
awesome. And you can kind of help guide people as to different parts of the world that like with Sandals or any of those kind of different places like that where where they want temperate wise and what they want kind of view wise and what they want the ocean experience and stuff like that. So even if they they come to you just kind of out of the blue and hey, I want to have a destination wedding, you can give them a list of a variety of places to choose from to start with, and then put them in touch with the team that they have at the resort, which then kind of takes over for the detailed side of stuff for the ceremony and stuff. Is that a correct summary?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, certain resorts, depending on the kind of wedding that you want and the kind of style you're looking for, there's some resorts that only do one wedding a day. So, and you get all that attention on you. Like everyone is focused on that wedding, and that is the wedding of the day. Other resorts, I mean, they can do 4 or 5 weddings in a day, but they have a more extensive wedding team. So
very cool.
Kind of depends on what you're looking for on that end too. Obviously, the ones that have one wedding a day book up pretty quick. So
right. That is,
if you want that, you better start early.
No, that is awesome. And again, knowledge that you would have that somebody would need to know. That's important. I think that is absolutely fantastic. So let's kind of go back to kind of the big 4, I'd say kind of maybe 5 kind of main topics. So we talked a little bit about Disney, kind of how you obviously clearly specialize in Disney. It's in your title, which is great. Yes. So when you talk to somebody about Disney, like I know like Disney Florida, Orlando, there is I think is it 5 different Disney parks?
There's 4 parks and 2 water parks.
Okay,
yep.
so yeah, I mean, when you say I want to go to Disney World, it's not just It's not like just going to, what's the one in Des Moines?
Adventureland.
Adventureland?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no.
not just going to Adventureland. There's a lot there. And each of those
Well, I've
four
noticed I have
parks.
expectations now when I go to theme parks. We went to an area theme park and with my daughter, and I'm just like, this isn't Disney. It's just not. Nope. This was Disney. There wouldn't be trash there, and this person would be nicer.
So now, and this is a little bit off topic, but when you worked for Disney, I've seen the documentaries of the inner workings of a park of that size and that scope and just all. I mean, did you ever get a chance to learn about some of the there's the whole city of production underneath where everybody sees, the movement of foods and goods and products and team members and I'm sure Mickey's security staff and stuff like that. Did you get a chance to see just kind of because I'm a behind the scenes guy, I think stuff like that just fascinates me. How all of I'm all for the rides, but I want to know wow, how did all this stuff get from here to way over here and how all that works? Did you get a chance to see all that?
I mean, I was a part of it in terms of my role at the Living with the Land. So the Epcot cast parking lot is kind of behind the test track area, if you're familiar with the park.
Mm-hmm.
And the Living with the Land attraction is on the other side. So I was lucky enough that I got to work at 7:30 in the morning, and the park doesn't usually open until 9. So I was able to walk through the park to get to my job. If I started work at 9 or later, or really 8:30 because guests would be let in early, you would have to walk or take the bus around the outside perimeter of the World Showcase, which would take a lot longer.
That's crazy. But knowing
or you'd have to wear your street clothes, and then when you got into work, then you could change into your costume, and then no one would know that you're different than a guest. But yeah,
right. So did you ever get to play
you
any
have
of
to
the
be a part of
characters?
it.
Did you ever get to be a character?
No, I was a tour guide, so that's what I did.
I think that's awesome. So we got Disney. You're also a specialist in Universal, and Universal is a whole nother beast. That's completely different as well. And they have California and Florida locations. So talk a little bit about Universal, kind of how that experience is. If I come to you and say, pros and cons, which one should I go with? Disney, Universal? What would you do kind of promoting either? If I say, I trust you, so you're going to give me the high points of both of them. What are some of the high points of Universal?
Universal, the biggest thing that I really noticed my first time going to Universal is how close together everything is. So I was really used to Walt Disney World in Florida, where everything is super spread out and you really have to take bus transportation for a lot of things. With Universal, it's not that way at all. You can easily walk from your resort to City Walk, which is kind of their version of the shopping and dining area. And then from there, you can walk into both parks and their water park. So everything is very close. Everything's in walking distance. You can easily start your day at a theme park and go to a water park and finish your day at a theme park at night. So it's really a lot closer together. So logistically, you can do quite a bit more at Universal in a day than you can sometimes at Disney.
What do you think about things like, because I know when we went to Universal, and this was a number of years ago, like the different levels of passes, you get the fast pass and stuff like that. Is that something that you would recommend as a travel agent that they should always do? Is that something that's seasonal that, maybe, this time of year it's a little bit slower. So, hey, you don't need to spend the extra $1 billion that it costs for the fast pass or, but is that stuff that you can kind of help guide?
Absolutely. Yeah. And especially, it varies between Disney and Universal. Right now, their Express Pass Plus and the Genie Plus system are both for pay. At one point, Disney was doing a free pass, and then Universal's was a paid. So now they're kind of on the same playing field. But with Universal, if you stay at certain resorts, you get that Express Pass complimentary. So it's included with your trip. So some people will even, spend a night at a premier resort just to take advantage of that Express Pass for a couple of days, and then go ahead and head over to a value resort.
I tell you what, that was, especially when we went, Kobe was younger, spending the extra money for the Express Pass was worth the price, and they weren't cheap, but oh my gosh, you see that line that's 45 minutes to get in and it takes you 15 or 10, and you're like, oh yeah, let's
Or you walk right on.
pass, I'm a celebrity. We've got hundreds of fans on our next time we go, I'm probably gonna need security or something.
Are you taking me?
Yes, Andrew, this time I will take you. That's the only thing that you're worried about. Are you taking me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
He wants to go too.
I know. Hey, I am, 53 years old. I still love rides. Give me a roller coaster all day long. I may be dizzy as hell afterwards, but I am all for it. So, all right. So we've got Disney, we've got Universal. So here is one of my mysteries. Cruises. I've got friends that love cruises. They you need to be in a cruise. You need to be in a cruise. They're like Tesla owners or Apple owners. I'm an Apple guy. Andrew before the show was giving me crap about because I'm a iPhone. I watch this and that, and he's like, "You Apple people, like all you ever do is Apple's better. Apple's better." I'm like, it's in the terms and conditions. We have to say that. It's part of it. When it comes to cruises, you get the cruise people, and they're like, "Oh, it's the only way to trade. You vacate cruise." I'm like, I've seen Titanic.
Wait,
I know how it ends. It's not a good ending. So, sell me on cruises. Tell me why.
We're pretty awesome.
Yeah,
cruise.
There's a couple different things.
My co-host, ladies and gentlemen, and go to the Andrew shot. Andrew. Oh, it doesn't have your last name on there anymore. Andrew Cruz. Okay.
That's what's up.
Okay. See, I saw him when I was talking. I saw him out of the corner of my eye being all wiggly. I thought he just had to go to the bathroom. No, it was to get in the cruise line joke. Cruise line. See? Ooh, we're building on this.
Absolutely.
This ship has left the dock. All right. So, iceberg, straight ahead. Tell me about why cruises are, besides Andrew, awesome.
Well, there's a couple different things to think about when you're looking at cruises. One thing you can really focus on is the ship itself and how much time you want to spend on board the ship and just doing everything you do on the ship. And if that's probably the most important, maybe a shorter cruise is the best thing because you'll get to spend a lot of time sailing and you can do a lot of the activities and amenities and things that are on the ship, do the seaplex and the windsurfing and the slides and all, like everything that's included on there. But some people are really interested in the actual destination itself and seeing multiple destinations in a trip, going to multiple islands and really kind of packing that in is what's most important to some people. So it kind of, depending on how you want a vacation, is going to dictate the kind of cruise that you're going to want to take. So,
I mean, I've seen, everybody's seen pictures of the cruise ships, and you see them on the commercials, and I've seen a few of them in person. I've never been on one, but I've stood and looked up, and these, it's like a floating city. I mean, my God, they're massive, and there's so many. And I get it. There's all the things to do on them. I mean, they've got water parks built on them. There was one that I saw that's got a racetrack, like a go-kart track built onto them.
Yep.
It's
pretty wild.
Everything. So you've got the cruises that are kind of more family oriented. You got the cruises that may be a little bit more adult oriented. You're talking like the kind of the two big differences. Like if you want to just kind of go on the cruise and just party on the boat. And so you look for the places where they've got a lot more things to do on the ship itself, and then maybe look at one that doesn't have as many amenities, but you're going to go to different ports. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, and certainly there's really awesome ships that go and visit a ton of ports, and that's great too. But usually, I'll start off with, do you want to focus on the ship or do you want to focus on the actual itinerary that you're doing? One thing that I just got certified in was Virgin Voyages. And they are an exclusively adults only cruise line. So you won't find any kids on there at all, which has been great for a lot of honeymoon couples that want that all inclusive experience, but do want to visit a lot of different destinations in a trip.
Right.
So it kind of gives you the best of both.
I think the most important question when it comes to cruises, I think this is probably key on everybody's mind. Do you get to water ski behind the boat?
No. Sorry.
Even if you ask nicely?
No.
Like, what if you see the captain and you're like, dude, I'm a really good water skier. Let me try it.
You should probably go to an all-inclusive resort instead and do water skiing.
All right, fine. I can just imagine. I have this picture in my mind of water skiing behind a cruise ship, and I grew up water skiing. I grew up in Minnesota, so there was lakes every 3 miles away, so we water skied all the time. And when you eventually fall, dump, or just let go, the boat's got to come back around, pick you up. And I just picture this giant cruise ship, like, he fell. All right, give him 2 hours. We're coming back around. They turn the wheel. For the record, though.
Well, there's also river cruising too, which is, that's completely different than ocean cruising. Those ships are big, but they're big relative to the space that they're in. So it's a lot more intimate. Cruise ships, you can fit 1,000+ people on a ship, where a river cruise is really a lot more intimate. The staff will really get to know you by the end of that cruise, and you can see some different stuff that you won't see on an ocean liner. Mm-hmm. So there's not as many amenities on the boat, just because they are a little bit smaller, but it's a really nice different way to travel if you've never done it before.
Do the river cruises, because I've seen commercials for them, I don't know a lot about them, but do they do like more stops like along the way? Like I'm picturing like the Mississippi, so hey, everyone's hanging out in Dubuque. And then,
yes.
Is that kind of how they do? They kind of stop at like historical points or like major cities along the way, or how does that work?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the cruise that you take. So the one that goes down the Mississippi, it stops. I think it starts up in Minnesota somewhere and finishes down in Louisiana. So you really see the whole Mississippi in and of itself. And they do have a recent port at Dubuque, so I'm based out of Dyersville, which is 30 minutes away from Dubuque. So that's been a part of the news lately. Viking Cruise Line has come to Dubuque, but especially the ones in like Europe, they have all sorts of really cool stops along there. The Christmas markets are along one of them. There's just some really different cool stuff, and you can see quite a bit on one trip.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some of the all-inclusive places, your sandals and stuff like that. So the number one question that my wife made sure I write down to ask you, because you see the commercials. Everybody's seen the sandals commercials, right? And they are gorgeous. Oh my gosh, the huts on the ocean, and everybody's smiling, and they're just gorgeous.
It beats whatever you're doing right now.
Does it live up to the when you go to a sandals, do you get there and you're like, oh well, the commercial was cool? Does it meet expectations? Are they as awesome as they look?
Sandals is one of my favorite brands to work with. Like I enjoy the brand because they do a great job at inclusions. Like they include everything. They include everything down to your tips and gratuities and dining, and everything is in there. So you literally walk in and you don't have to spend anything if you don't want to for the entire week. Now there certainly are different ways you can, if you want to do like an expensive spa treatment or have an additional, extra special candlelight dinner privately done by a butler, you can certainly add that onto your trip.
You are good. Your wedding day is coming up.
It's coming up.
Sandals.
But yeah, they do a great job, and they have some of the best locations, some of the best beaches. I would say if you're looking for like that Instagrammable beach, Turks and Caicos is like the best water you will ever see in your life. Like it's beautiful.
And I think that the other big question is, when I get to the resort, do I instantly look like everybody that you see in the commercials? Because you see the people in the commercials are like, ooh, I want abs like that. And it's like, does that instantly happen as soon as you walk in? Because I think that in that case I would
have a guy with a clipboard, just like
I feel like I'm breaking all your paradigms today. No water skiing and no abs.
The water skiing, I would ask. I wonder how many idiots ask. I guarantee somebody, hey, while you say I throw on some skates and just go behind this boat. What do you say?
Here's a 20.
Here's a 20. You're the captain? Skis, come on. Give me a couple 100 yards of rope. I'll yell go. And then you just gun this thing, and let's see how we. Can you imagine have you ever gone water skiing?
Once.
Oh my gosh, I water skied all through high school. Like we were those kids that like I always not a big fisherman. I don't like it. And when I got old enough that I could prove to my dad that I could safely back up the boat like on the trailer and do all that stuff, we were able to, my buddies and I would every day after school on the weekends we're on the lake. And then one of my other buddies, his parents had a boat too, so now there's all of us idiot high school kids out there, and we're spend all day water skiing, and all we're doing is pissing off all of the fishermen that were on the lake.
You're scaring the fish away.
We were because being nice, so you would water ski around the kind of the outside edge because everybody's fishing in the middle. So our theory was, well, we're just chasing fish into the middle for you
Seems about right.
because I care. That's I could tell. There's bad water skiing stories. Never mind, can't do that. So let's talk about just the randoms. You get people that want to go to Disney. You got people at Universal. You got the cruises. You got the all-inclusive places. Places like Sandals. Somebody reaches out to you and they're just like, "Hey, I want to go on vacation."
Yep.
I don't know. I want to go to Europe. Okay, so it's not a destination thing. It's not something like that. Can you help people that just want to go somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on their request. Usually I'll drill down a little bit and say like, well, kind of what are you looking for? When are you looking to go? That's the biggest thing. If you are looking to book a trip, have dates nailed down. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves is like, I want to go sometime between January and June, whatever the best price is. I'm like, I can't work with that.
Sure. You're going in April. No, April won't work. Yeah,
yes, that's exactly what happens.
Oh, whatever.
Well, this is the best pricing. So
But would you be able to
having
help?
some dates nailed down and kind of being able to work through kind of what they're looking for.
Okay.
And then if it's something that I don't regularly book and I don't feel like it can service the reservation appropriately, I'll pass it on to another agent in our agency and make sure that you're well taken care of.
That's outstanding by itself. I mean, that's great. And that's, even, as, because you're more specialized, which I completely understand. But, when you're traveling, especially traveling abroad, if you want to go to Europe, like my youngest and I, Kobe and I have talked about going to Europe a number of times. We're big history nuts, big World War II nuts. So we thought about doing, like, remember the HBO show Band of Brothers?
Yes.
So Kobe and I have talked about doing kind of a Band of Brothers tour where we would start at Normandy and follow the whole route of Easy Company, which would be awesome because you hit like it's 6 different countries that you go through this tour thing. But, I wouldn't know where the hell to stay, stuff like that. So there are travel agents that, in that kind of circumstance that you would be able to refer me to that could kind of help line up where we're going to stay. And, now you got languages, you've got all these other barriers in place because surprisingly not everybody speaks English, which I did not. And I know as a good, well-educated American, all I need to do to be understood is slow down and talk louder. Because that helps everybody who doesn't understand me. But, having a travel agent for something like that, I think would be infinitely safer than going through an online service, right?
Yeah, well, and even for a trip like you just described, I'd probably recommend starting with a private guided tour. We've got a company that we work with that does customizable tours like that.
Ooh.
That would be able to have a guide that works with the company itself, and then they also have a local guide for each destination that you visit. So if you go to those 6 countries, you could have a guide from that country, helping you get to and from the places that you need to go and taking care of those logistics and things like that. So that's definitely something I can help you with too. So
we're planning.
I wouldn't be able to recommend necessarily, but I can hook you up with a company that can and kind of service you and connect those pieces. So.
That is awesome. Yeah, we're gonna parachute in just like Normandy. Kobe and I we're gonna parachute in.
Some came on boats.
And well, yep. It's so
I don't know if that's
cool
legal,
history.
But...
This is actually one quick history moment because this is neat. I'm a history nut. Our neighbor growing up when I was a kid, he was a World War II vet, Mr. Chrisman. Bill Chrisman was his name. He was one of the landing boat drivers in Normandy.
Wow.
And oh my gosh, I mean, you have never met a more fascinating, humble, amazing human being than this guy. I mean, you've seen, Saving Private Ryan, right? Any of those kind of big movies where they have those kind of Normandy moments like that. Mr. Chrisman did that, lived that, and it just, sorry, history thing. It's totally off subject. I apologize. So overall, what should couples expect when they reach out to you? It's kind of a broad spectrum question. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What do they expect? You know, when this is the first time they're using a travel agent ever, right? What can they expect from you, just overall? What kind of service?
Yeah, I think the best thing that I can say about working with a travel agent is it really is in your best interest, not only to have those relationships, but I guess can't believe I haven't mentioned this up until now, but using a travel agent is actually at no cost to you. Like my services, you do not have to pay for. The resort is already paying to have these services, and it's built into the price that they already charge. So if you're booking it online on your own, you're paying the same as if you booked it through me, and you don't get the additional benefit of having, travel documents prepared and people working with you to make sure that you have, the best customized vacation you possibly can.
In hindsight, we should have said that right away. Yep,
Yeah.
you are absolutely right. So
That's usually what I lead with. So I'm like, I can't believe I haven't said that till now. But yeah, this is no cost to you.
So you are not paying for her expertise. You don't have to pay her for it. It's built into the cost of your trip. I mean, so you're getting a level of expertise, you're getting a level of security, you're getting a level of stress-free, ding, kind of all of that with your services right there. It's not like I got to write you a check. It's all right there. Oh man, yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna okay. So we're gonna edit. We're gonna do the show back. We're gonna Tarantino this show. We're gonna start at the end of the show, and we're gonna do like the middle, and then we're gonna do the. No, we're not. We're gonna do it in order.
And there's a plot twist in there somewhere.
Watch the show, and you're gonna learn this stuff. Why? Why are you in the travel business? And I know we've talked kind of on broad spectrum on this, but if you were to kind of drill down on that, why are you in the travel business?
I guess when I was growing up, travel was a big part of my childhood. Like I was an only child, and my parents thought it was important that we go places, but my mom would not fly. So we drove everywhere, which I hated as a kid, but I have come to appreciate as an adult because I got to see a lot more than I would have if I was flying over. I mean, we went to Disney at least once a year, and that's a good 20-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw everywhere from Iowa to Florida and everywhere in between. And we made quite a few stops along the way and saw different things. And we're in the Smoky Mountains and Nashville. And I mean, we take different routes, different times to go a different direction, and you would just see different stuff than we usually did. So I really became accustomed to that. And as I got older, I really wanted to share that with people and help people make those memories with their families. And that's probably one of the most rewarding things, is being able to have people come back from their trip and they're like, oh, we really needed that. Like, we're so glad we got to reconnect. Or coming back after a honeymoon and being like, that was the best. We got to get away, decompress. It's been super stressful up until the wedding, and we could just go and relax. And I love being a part of making those memories with people. And it's awesome.
That's a great answer. You said you were an only child? So at the very least, on those long road trips, you never had to do he's in my space. Because if you did do that,
it was so boring because I'm by myself in the back seat.
That's
just like chilling with my Barbies. Like nobody to play with.
I've got a younger brother and sister, and I remember when we'd go on, like we'd go to like grandma's house, which is only 6 hours away, back then. But we'd bring the dog too. So the dog would, and we didn't have a station wagon, we didn't have a van. It was like an Oldsmobile, 4-door. The dog would lay on the floor, and so no leg room. And then my brother and sister and my brother, the youngest, used to get super car sick on drives, and it was 6 hours of hell. I love to fly. I am all about get me on the airplane. I'm good. So you mentioned a couple times during the course of the show that if it's something that is outside of your kind of purview as what you do, that you are happy to refer people to other professionals. So you've kind of answered this question for me, but I want to give you kind of my favorite kind of question to ask is, what should people look for? And we'll do this a little bit more general, because it's usually what should people look for in your competition or, in something similar, but you've kind of already expounded on that. So what qualities should someone look for in a travel agent? Just overall, what should they find? What should they ask?
I'd probably just make sure that, your agent does have a relationship with the places that you're booking with. So I only book with um, resorts and places that I have a good working relationship with. So Disney, Universal, Sandals, Palace, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, Virgin Voyages, like those are kind of my standby places, and our agency has great relationships with these places. So if something does go wrong, I have a phone number to call. I can, kind of work those things out for you. So making sure that your agent has a relationship with those companies and businesses, and also just the level of professionalism and response time. Right now is the middle of our busy season between like end of December to about after spring break is like madness. So I almost hate to say response time because I know my response time probably isn't going to be where I want it to be just because it's a busy time. But making sure that you have an agent that's going to be responsive to you, because if you have issues in travel, you want to be sure that they're going to be able to be there for you and work through those with you.
Fantastic. Nope, that is perfect. Hey, if you want to learn more about Brittany and Marvelous Mouse Travel, all you got to do, go to ourstressfreewedding.com, go to our vendor section and click either travel. You can search to it directly to there, or just type in MARV and her page pops right up. You can go right to it. All the information is right there. If you are a registered user on the platform, which by the way is free for our couples, you can reach out to her and connect with her right through this whole system, and she can help you with honeymoons, destination weddings, travels, all kinds of stuff. All of the different links that we have set up in place actually takes you to her specific, her full website as well. So it ties everything in together. So you learn as much about Brittany as you possibly can. You can catch her on her Facebook page there. You can always send her a message through our messaging hub. You can call her. You can save her to favorites. You can send a connection request. All four of those features are available to you if you are a registered user on the platform. There is no charge. You can register. We promise. We don't even blast you with emails. We are nice people. We really are, because I hate spam. I hate getting all those emails like that, and so we don't do that to people. Take a look at it and learn from it. Brittany, is there anything that you would like to add? Is there anything that we've missed? Anything else you want to throw in there? Compliments to Andrew. He's kind of insecure. Anything along those lines?
No, I've had a great time talking with you guys today, and so I really appreciate the time to talk about travel, and I'm really excited to help any couples with their honeymoons or destination wedding in the future. So thank you so much.
Oh, you've been a pleasure. It's been great. Andrew, anything that we've missed? Mr. Cruz?
I am Mr. Cruz. Almost like Mr. Worldwide, I am Mr. Cruz. Yeah. No, it's been fantastic talking with you, and definitely going to consider, using a travel agent for, my honeymoon.
There you go.
Up.
See, he's your warm marker right now. So there you go. That's perfect. Well, wonderful. Hey, as always, thank you so much for watching, you guys. We really, really, really appreciate it. Please take the time to like and subscribe, spread the word. Go check out the website, ourstressfreewedding.com. Trust me, you're going to find something. If you are planning your big day, all of our wedding professionals are of this kind of caliber. It's just like what Brittany's been talking about this entire show. Everybody there is there to help you make your day as amazing as possible. It's what we do. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a stress-free day.